What's going on, guys? My name is Wouters and today I have got 10 tips for you to improve your longboarding, get better at longboarding, learn tricks faster and just have a better time on your board. So yeah, the first tip is loosen up your trucks. One thing I always notice with trucks that come straight out of the box is that the kingpin is screwed on way too tight. Is this screw right here that is often screwed on way too tight. The first thing I always do when I have a new setup is putting this truck on my board, then just get some speed, feel how it turns, and often it doesn't turn as good as I want it to, and it's just for the simple reason that the kingpin is locked down way too tight. And this is a problem that a lot of people have, because when you get your first board you won't immediately think about loosening this up because you don't know what it's all about. Then it becomes hard to loosen it up because you're already used to skating tight trucks. Something you can do is loosen it up a quarter of a turn, then go out skate for half an hour, whatever time you need to get used to it, then do it again, go skate again. But once you get to a point that your trucks are pretty loose, you'll feel that they turn way smoother. They give you this surfy feeling. Then for me that's what longboarding is all about. If you loosened up your trucks and they don't feel smooth anymore, you might want to try to use different bushings. As you can see, these are ATA bushings from Blood Orange. They are way softer than the bushings that come with the trucks. It will feel smoother than putting hard bushings on your trucks and just loosen it up like crazy, because then it will be like tic-tac. If you go left right, it's like left right. It won't feel as smooth anymore. So softer bushings is another way to loosen up your trucks. Then tip number 2, work on your flaws. And with that I mean doing things you actually aren't that good in. And this is really important if you want to become an overall good longboarder, because the fastest way to learn things is just eliminating what you can't do. And of course this is something at first it won't be as fun, because if you're already able to do other tricks, you're like, why should I learn this basic trick and if I can do this awesome trick right here? But being able to do that basic trick, it's really important, because those are your fundamentals. And if you never try this one, then you'll never discover all the aspects of longboarding. So working on your flaws is something that at first isn't that fun, but it's extra satisfying once you get that. And yeah, it just enables you to become an overall longboarder. Tip number 3, wear something you feel good in. This is something that's proven by a lot of studies, and it's just simply the fact that when you wear something you feel good in, you actually perform better. This is something that's in all aspects of life, but in longboarding in particular. When I skate in a shirt that's too small or I feel like I look goofy, I won't be able to perform as good. It's just something psychological, and there's this little thing in my head that keeps messing with my head, and then I won't be able to perform as I want to. And the opposite, if you feel good in the clothes you wear, you're actually able to perform that little bit better, and a lot of times that little edge is just enough to do a trick that you won't be able to do otherwise, or just to a line smoother than you would in these goofy clothing. Tip number 4, taping the inside of your shoes. When I'm longboarding, I always have these gigantic gapes in my shoes, because my toe scrapes on the ground. Something that works for me is to tape the inside of your sole. Take your inner sole out and put tape on it right here. So this is a thick layer of tape. And then put it in my shoe. You see I already used this one, so I gotta take another layer on the outside. Because yeah, this is just something to save some money on shoes, because shoes are really expensive, and it's stupid because I know that a lot of people have this problem. Hope you can use this tip right here. And tip number 5 is to use your notes app on your phone or just a notebook. I use this book right here. I'm using it right now for this video. So I just use it to put down video ideas, trick tips, just tricks I gotta try, because often I'm in class and I come up with this awesome trick, and when I get to skate I forgot it or I just don't remember it anymore. I write it down so I won't forget it. You can also do this in your notes app. Every phone has one. it's really easy to quickly write something down. I prefer like the old school way of using a notebook. Just random drawings of grip tape or shapes or whatever. Writing something down is often the first step to getting it done, so this thing right here helps me out a lot. Tip number 6, and that is something that applies to all the fakie tricks or nollie tricks, where you have to pop your board like a big spin, shove it, whatever. And I'll just show it with this awesome groundboard deck. It's my first ever groundboard deck. We'll start with a shove it. Like with skateboarding, you can just pop your feet like that and your board will fly up like this and you can land it. But with longboarding it's harder to do that because you need a lot more air time, because the board is just simply longer and it takes more time to make the whole 180 degrees. But what you can do is shift your weights to the foot and the tail, and then just make a small pivot first, and when you're like on this point you can snap your tail on the ground if you want to, and then it will pop up really high. And when you do it when you're already here, it will be way easier to rotate your board and land it, because you won't need as much air time because you already did this like 30 degrees angle. And another example, if you're trying to learn big spins, if you already do like this turn right here, and then you can snap your board on the ground with your foot on the tail, so really pop the board with your foot, your board will fly up way higher. You'll land it easier and it will look smoother. Then moving on to tip number 7, never go skate without water. I always have this 2 liter or 1.5 liters with me, and this is something that's really important because when you're skating you're actually sporting and you can get dehydrated. And the problem with me is when I leave at home I'll never feel like thirsty, but after an half an hour or an hour of skating I always feel like I can drink this whole bottle at once, and if I forget it, I feel so bummed. Now moving on to tip number 8, and this is a tip for when you're learning a new trick, because for me when I'm learning a new trick I have to learn how to do that, and mostly I won't take any breaks till I got that. But what happens is that I keep doing something wrong and I can only focus on this one trick, so I don't take up any of my surroundings and I'm just focused on my board and the ground and landed that trick. Take it easy for like a minute and drink some water, take a deep breath, think about what you're doing rather than just doing something without thinking about it. Then moving on to tip number 9, and this is mostly something for new skaters or when you just tend to hold your board wrong. So here is my old mindless rider. This is my first longboard ever, like 160 euros I guess. And one thing I had to learn the hard way that I did wrong is that I'll always grab my board like this and I would go out and walk happily like this, but all my clothes were all of a sudden like scraped away right here, and it took a while till I knew that it was actually just because of my board, and I held it like this instead of like this. I had to learn it the hard way, so this is a big tip for you. If you start longboarding, always hold your board like this so it won't rip your clothing off. Finally, last but definitely not least, tip number 10 is to think about the trick you're trying. Because the best way to learn a new trick is to think about all the movements you have to make, like your left foot, your right foot. Think about what left foot should do, how it should pop, if it has to pop like diagonal or straight downwards, where your weight has to be on that specific time, if you have to go to your knees before you pop your board or do the trick. Just list up everything. And of course I'm not saying like by memorizing the things you have to do you can actually do the trick right away, but then you can actually think about what you did wrong, and when you think about what you did wrong then you can make sure you don't do it over and over again, because that's a mistake that a lot of people do, and me too when I'm trying a new trick. That is something that works really good for me. I hope it works well for you too. So yeah, wrapping up this video, I hope these tricks will help you out. I'm also planning on making trick tips, like dance tips also. Make sure you subscribe if you're into weekly longboard videos, trick tips, whatever. Yeah, have a good one.